Okay, I just have a few logistics. We have a chat pod where you can ask questions throughout the webinar. However, we plan to have a Q&A after the presentation, so if you want to save your questions until then, you can. The chat pod you will find up in the right-hand corner under the More button. If you click More, and then you'll see the chat is the first one that you can click onto. Okay. So, today, our guest speaker from the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, DEP, is Ed Boito. Ed, he is currently the Small Business Ombudsman for the DEP. As the Ombudsman, Ed is primarily the contact for small businesses when they have questions or issues that might arise with DEP or any kind of interactions with DEP. Previously, Ed served as the government liaison in the South Central Regional Office for DEP. In that capacity, he worked with state legislators as well as county and municipal officials in solving their problems with answering questions that occurred within the department. Prior to Ed going to DEP, he co-owned a solar installation and energy efficiency consulting company in Harrisburg. He's had several positions in the private sector and has worked for conservation organizations in the Harrisburg region. I want to mention that we work very closely with him with the Small Business Advantage Grant to represent our clients. And we're very close-knit with DEP and with the Ombudsman. As I mentioned, I'm Denise Bechtel. I'm the team lead with Energy Environment for PennTAP. If you want to find out information about me, you can just go to our website, our PennTAP website. So today, some of the topics that we're going to discuss is the energy funding that is provided by some of these resources that are listed in the slide. They include DEP, which Ed is going to cover for us, DCED, the Department of Community and Economic Development, USDA, utilities and rebate incentives, the Sustainable Energy Fund, tax credits, and some others. But for now, I'm going to hand it over to Ed so he can introduce what DEP has to offer and talk about DEP funding. So Ed, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Denise. Good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Ed Boito, and I'm the Small Business Ombudsman for the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection. Today, I want to talk about two different programs that my office has to help small businesses become more energy efficient. The first is the Small Business Advantage Grant that's shown here on this slide. And the primary purpose of this grant is to help small businesses fund projects to install energy efficient equipment or equipment to reduce pollution and waste that's generated by their business operations. Now, I'm going to give you some bad news. Currently, the program is closed, but the good news is the funding round is going to open again next week. One of the new offerings this year that we're going to be able to provide is for the opportunity for small businesses to install solar hot water systems. Now, please note, this is not for PV systems or systems that generate electricity. It's only for solar hot water systems. Now, if you're in the agricultural community, farmers can also use this grant to fund natural resource protection projects, such as creating a riparian buffer or installing stream bank fencing to keep their cows out of the streams, or other agricultural stormwater projects. These type of projects prevent nutrients and sediment from getting into the Commonwealth's waterways, so therefore it prevents pollution. Next slide. So the Small Business Advantage Grant has been around for 15 years, and this year will be the 16th year. Like I said, we're going to open this next week. As you can see on this slide, these are the different types of projects that were funded by the program over the last few years. You can see that many of these are energy efficiency projects, but the vast majority of these projects being just really simple LED lighting projects. Upgrading to LED lighting is usually very financially attractive to small businesses because the payback on that equipment is so short, even without the grant. And I'm going to show you a case study a little bit later to demonstrate those savings potential for lighting upgrades. Many of the projects you see here are also eligible for utility company rebates depending on the kilowatt savings of a project. I'm sure Denise is going to get into that a little bit later. And again, it's not just lighting. Anything that uses electricity, motors, pumps, HVAC, refrigeration, anything that saves energy is eligible for this grant. Next slide. So I just want to talk a little bit about the basic eligibility requirements for the grant. The business must be a Pennsylvania-based small business with 100 or fewer employees, and the project must also save a business $500 per year and 25% annually in energy or pollution-related expenses. Now, the exception to that is the natural resource projects because they aren't really energy efficient. But I want to point out that I have the word "and" underlined there. It has to save a business $500 and 25% annually in energy costs. Projects that are paid for or installed prior to July 1st of this year are not eligible. However, if you made a deposit just to hold a project price or a contractor's commitment, that will not make the project ineligible, so long as you didn't pay any more than 50% of the project up front. So you could have put a deposit down, and you'll be able to work and get the grant this year. Okay. All projects have to be completed by June 30th of next year, so you have a little bit less than a full year to complete your project. Finally, to see if your business and project are eligible for the grant, please review the grant guidance documentation, which is available on our website, and I'm going to give that to you here at the end of my presentation. Next slide, please. So for this fiscal year, we're again going to have $1 million to give away through the program. This is a matching grant, meaning the grant will only cover 50% of the eligible costs of the project. The remaining portion is paid for by the small business owner or through rebates that they may be getting from their utility company. And by the way, I really encourage you to apply to your utility company for the rebates that they offer, because it could be in the thousands, and I've even seen tens of thousands of dollars coming back to companies that apply for the rebates. The grant amount is going to depend on the type of project you're undertaking. So for example, lighting only projects are eligible up to $6,000 from the grant, whereas HVAC or other pollution prevention projects are eligible up to $7,000. All applications have to be made through the Commonwealth's online single application system. We just don't have paper applications anymore, so everything is done online. Now, normally, any DEP grant is scored by the benefit or the project that is being undertaken. But for the Small Business Advantage Grant, we're very unique in that we're the only grant where we award the grants based on a first-come, first-served basis. So act quickly. If you're going to apply, I really encourage you to apply within the first 30 to 45 days. In the past, we've seen the grant money run out in as little as 3 months, and once it's excuse me, once it's gone, it's gone. So I wanted to show how the grant could help a small business. I've included this case study from last year's grant round. This small manufacturer from Western Pennsylvania, excuse me, they received $4,800 grant from us to upgrade to the LED lights. They also received $4,400 in rebates from their utility for a total of $9,200 in grants and rebates. And if you can see, that's about half of the price of the whole project. You can also see that he's going to save 70,000 kilowatt hours of electricity, which equates to around $11,000 per year. So over the course of 5 years, he's going to save $55,000. The simple payback period for his portion of the expense to install this new equipment is just around 9 to 10 months. So this is a perfect way of using the grant and the rebates to save money and become more energy efficient. Next slide, there we go. So if you want some more information, please go to our website. If you have a project in mind, go to our website. The easiest way to get there is to Google the words PA Small Business Advantage Grant. Okay, and that's usually going to be the first suggestion at the top of the list when it pops up. Now, if you go there now, you're going to see that it says the grant program is currently closed. But when the grant opens next week, there's going to be a headline at the top of the page that reads, "The grant is now open." So everything that you're going to need to apply is on the website, including the grant guidelines, the links to the application, and all the forms you're going to need. Now, what we did last year, which was very helpful to many of the applicants, we've added a lot of short instructional videos on how to apply based on the type of project that you're doing. So for example, if you're going to do a lighting upgrade, you can watch the video that's called, lighting upgrade instructions, and you can follow right along. It's a step-by-step process to show you how to do the application. What I actually tell people to do is to split their screen and put the video on one side and the application on the other, watch the video, hit pause, and then do what I showed you to do in the video, and then keep going back and forth like that until you complete the application. So the other program that I offer, that my office administers here, is the Pollution Prevention Assistance Account. Now, this is a low-interest loan program to help small businesses reduce raw materials or waste in their manufacturing process, or to significantly reduce energy consumption at their facility. Now, remember, this is a loan that has to be paid back, where the previous information we were giving was for a grant, which is free money. So the PPAA loan program will cover up to 75% of the total cost of a project. The program also has a really attractive 2% fixed interest rate for the entire life of the loan, up to a maximum of 10 years. So that, that's really cheap money. You can't get any better than that. The maximum loan amount to any applicant is $100,000. And this is quite interesting. DEP and DCED, which stands for the Department of Community and Economic Development, we jointly administer this loan. The application process involves applying to my office first, where I'm going to make a determination on whether the project will meet the environmental requirements. Will it meet all the energy savings that the application says it will? After I approve the application, I forward it on over to DCED, and they're going to judge the application on the financial merits to make sure the applicant has the ability to pay back the loan. What makes this loan unique, you won't find this with many banks, is that both DCED and I will take into consideration the financial savings that you're going to get by reducing your energy or your waste costs when we make that loan determination. So now again, this is only for small businesses located in Pennsylvania with fewer than 100 employees. As I mentioned before, it's jointly administered by DEP and DCED. And we currently have over $1.2 million in funding available to lend. Unlike the grant program, the PPAA loan program never closes. It's open all the time because it's a revolving loan fund. As people and businesses are paying it back, that money goes back out the door to fund other projects. So if you have an interest in applying, you'll need to contact your local or county economic development organization to assist you. They're the ones that are going to help you with the loan application and work on your behalf with DCED and myself. Well, that's it for my portion of the program. If you have any questions, here's my office's contact information. Please feel free to call us anytime. We're here to help you. We really want to make both the loan program and the grant program available to as many businesses as we can. And I look forward to getting your grant and loan applications this year. I'm going to stay on the webinar to answer any questions you have. I'll stay till the end. And again, I just wanted to say thank you very much to PennTAP and Denise for having me today.
Thank you, Ed. Thanks for that information. And as I mentioned earlier, we've been working with Ed through the Small Business Ombudsman's Office through DEP on these grant applications for many clients, and they've been very successful in getting those awards. And as he mentioned, taking advantage of rebates through your utilities. We're going to talk about those here in a couple slides. So thanks, Ed.
You're welcome.
Moving forward, we are going to talk about what's available through the Department of Community and Economic Development, DCED. They have a few programs that are available. And so the first one is the High Performance Building Program, HPB. This program provides the financial assistance in the form of either grants or loans to help underwrite the cost of premiums associated with the design, the construction, major renovations, building. Okay. Now, a high-performance building, that must meet the standards, so it has to meet or exceed, like the National Green Building Standards, or the Green Building Initiative, Green Globe Standards, or the United States Green Building Council LEED Gold Standards. So that's what we talk about when we're talking about high-performance building. So if you're a small business or an individual, you're eligible for these funds. The loans are high-performance building projects. They cannot exceed $2 million. And then for the individuals, they can't exceed $100,000. Now the grants, they cannot exceed more than $500,000 or 10% of the total building construction or renovation cost, so whichever is less. And then grants shall not exceed $2 million for a small business and $100,000 for an individual, and have a term of not more than 5 years on these. Now this particular program, this is open year-round. They have funding in there, and I'm not sure how much is left, but until the money is depleted, okay? So with that, it's just take advantage of this money, and then once it's gone, it's gone. There is a matching requirement of 1-to-1 match, so for every dollar you put in, they'll put in for these funds. And then there's also an application fee when you apply for these programs with DCED. The next one through DCED is the PIPE program, the Pipeline Investment Program, and otherwise known as PIPE. And that provides grants to construct those last few miles of natural gas distribution lines to either a business park, to a manufacturer, or an industrial enterprise. And then it'll also result in the creation of new economic-based jobs in the Commonwealth while providing access to that natural gas for the residents around those areas as well. So these funds are used for the acquisition, construction, site prep, associated with extending that natural gas pipeline to your applicant. Economic development organizations, businesses, municipalities, hospitals, schools, school districts, they are all eligible for this particular grant. The maximum amount of the PIPE, it cannot exceed $1 million or 50% of the total project cost, so whichever is less. Okay, and to learn more about the PIPE program, you can contact Brian Eckert at DCED, which I have his contact information up on the slide. He's very knowledgeable. He runs the program, and he can talk to you about the PIPE program. He can talk to you about the high performance building program as well. Okay, so these are two nice programs that DCED provides. Next, we're going to talk about the United States Department of Ag, USDA, Rural Energy for America program, which is called REAP. So REAP provides guaranteed loan financing and grant funding to ag producers and small rural businesses for renewable projects or energy efficiency improvements. Okay, so if you're an ag producer with at least 50% of your gross income coming from ag operations, or a small business in the eligible rural areas of Pennsylvania, you can apply for this grant. And to find out if you're in one of those rural areas, you can go to the website, and they have this nice fact sheet, which I have on this slide. And then there's a link where you can go, and then you enter in your zip code, and it'll let you know if you apply or not, okay? I would say if you're not in Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, parts of Erie, and parts of Scranton, then you probably will apply for this program. These funds can be used for renewable energy systems like biomass, geothermal, wind generation, solar generation. So those are all really nice renewable projects, but the funds can also be for the purchase or the installation of energy efficiency improvements. So when we talk about that, we're talking about HVAC systems, lighting, insulation, cooling and refrigeration units, doors and windows, so anything that can help you to save energy at your facility. The loans, they guarantee loans up to 75% of the total eligible cost, project cost, and the grants are for up to 25% of the total eligible project cost. And then you can also do a combined grant and loan funding, and that is up to 75% of the total eligible project cost. So for additional information, get a hold of the Pennsylvania Energy Coordinator at USDA, Amanda Hope. She's been there for several years. She really knows her stuff, and she can get you in contact with your local energy coordinator for USDA to go through this process. Her number and email is here on the slide. I do want to mention PennTAP has had a 25% success rate while working with clients to obtain this funding. This funding is very limited. I don't want to say limited, but like every state gets federal dollars, so it's very competitive. So to get this funding, you really need to have a nice score or return on the investment, and it's a process of going through this. So with that being said, let's move on. I do want to talk really brief and just let you people know, the folks that are on, that you will be getting this presentation, and all the links on every slide are live, that you'll be able to go right into these web links and to these sites that we have, okay? So the ones for DEP that Ed had there, and throughout the rest of the webinar, you'll be able to link onto those live. All right, we're going to talk about utility rebates and incentives. I'm going to highlight some of the utilities that PennTAP has partnered with in the past, okay, and then you'll see most of the incentives are similar to each other, which, everybody's going to give you rebates for lighting, HVAC systems, everything to that effect. In this slide, I've included the Pennsylvania Utility Service Territory map. Pennsylvania Power is the light blue, West Penn is the orange-colored counties, Duquesne is the light purple, Pennsylvania Electric is yellow, PPL is the darker pink, the light pink is Med-Ed, and then the darker blue in the lower corner, that's PECO. So that's your utility in your regions and the counties that they serve. This really helps us out too when we're working with clients, our clients, to know what utilities are serving what counties. So PA Act 129 mandates all electric utilities in state to permanently reduce energy and demand across all customer sectors. So that means residential, industrial, all their sectors. The Act 129 programs are funded through a surcharge on your electric bill, and the current programs are now in phase 3, which runs through May 31st, 2021. So if you're getting a surcharge and you can apply for a rebate, take advantage of that rebate, okay, because you're paying into that. Budgets are finite though with these, so pre-approval of a rebate is highly encouraged, and some of them, actually some of the utilities require you to have pre-approval. So let's talk about some of these. Utility rebates and incentives for First Energy. They have different programs that you can take advantage of. Their rebates are based on how many cents you can save per kilowatt hour, okay? They have prescriptive rebates and more. Some of the program incentives are listed in the slide, as you can see. They cover lighting, street and area lighting, food service, HVAC, appliances and electronics, but they also have what they call their custom programs. So if you're replacing equipment and you are saving kilowatt hours, they will work with you to get that rebate on whatever that piece of equipment is. For example, these are just a few. Maybe it's a roof and a window upgrade that you're considering as a custom project, or you're replacing motors, or you had a compressed air leak study done and you're implementing and saving and fixing those leaks. You can get rebates for those. So, you know, those are all good programs that they have. Program participants, you need to seek pre-approval before purchasing equipment to ensure that it meets the requirements and is eligible for the incentives. So you don't want to go upgrade your lighting and purchase lighting and it's not ENERGY STAR rated, or it's not the DLC rated, those are both requirements for the rebates. So there you would have purchased something, you know, that you couldn't receive a rebate on. So it's good to give them a call and find out also, you know. So Sodexo, they're the design program implementer for commercial and industrial energy efficiency programs for the FirstEnergy's Pennsylvania utilities. It's really easy to participate in these rebates. We do get comments, you know, from folks that say, oh, you know, our contractors say it's too hard to go through this process, but that's why we have the Sodexos out there and those folks to help you through that. You contact them to assess your facility, determine, you know, eligibility, and then also to quantify those energy improvements for you. So you choose your project, you install your equipment, and then you receive your rebate, and Sodexo is going to help you manage through that whole rebate process for you. So I've included in the slide the two area managers, C.D. Jarrett and Ron Butch. We've worked very closely with these guys in the past, and their contact information and phone number are there so that they can help you out. EP&L, they offer rebates on a wide variety of energy efficiency projects. These rebates can help your business reduce your payback time and offset the cost of energy efficiency upgrades, basically, you know, just like any of the rebates that we're going to talk about. So you want to check out their business rebate amounts here, which are shown in the table. So for, you know, what the savings is, whether it's energy efficient equipment, you get 5 cents per kilowatt hour. If it's a custom project, 6 cents per kilowatt hour. Combined heat and power, 3 cents per kilowatt hour. So they talk a little bit in the slide about that. The PPL program can help manufacturers identify the most cost-effective energy improvements for their facilities to reduce your peak demand, lower annual energy consumption, and realize both those short and long-term cost savings. So as mentioned, very similar to FirstEnergy, the rebates go towards lighting, HVAC, VFDs, variable frequency drives, compressed air systems, and more. So that's going to be a common theme you're going to hear about throughout these rebates as we talk about them. They're all giving you rebates on basically the same kind of stuff, okay? But also there's little differences between, you know, each company too on how you have to go through the process to receive those. So you want to contact PP&L. I've given you their number and also the website, and Clear Result are the folks that help them to go through the process of obtaining those grants, or those rebates, sorry. Next one is PECO. So PECO, they offer like a full suite of energy efficiency solutions and incentives for businesses and organizations of all sizes. I'm just going to highlight a few. They have the commercial and industrial solutions, and they have the small business direct install solutions. So these are just a couple. With the commercial, all non-residential customers are eligible. The projects must provide a reduction in annual kWh usage. And projects that were completed in the last 180 days may still qualify for incentives. And I would ask anybody with any utility if that is possible, because I think that they all will do that for you. And then projects must be completed with the documentation submitted by May 15th of 2021. Now, they put pots of money into these rebates. So as the funding depletes, though, then there won't be. So as we get closer to the end of this phase, you're going to see that money is going to start to dwindle. Okay. For the small business, they have incentives, with savings of 40 to 60% off the cost of your energy upgrades. That's including, interior, exterior lighting, refrigeration, hot water measures, and those types of solutions. Very similar to what you've heard before. But they also have interest-free financing, discounts for payments in full, and post-installation projects. So contact, if you are in the Pico area, contact those folks. When you reach out to Pico, if you have any questions regarding those rebates offered, remember that you just evaluate your energy efficiency opportunity. As mentioned, Pico offers solutions for all types of sizes, businesses, to help them save and improve the bottom line. And in this slide, this shows Pico's list of smart ideas for your business. And I know it's not real clear, but it'll show you just what the incentive is per unit. So if it's for lighting, or if you're replacing with a screw-in LED bulb, you're going to get $5 per bulb. So that type of thing. So once you figure out what makes most sense for your facility and your budget, then you apply for those incentives, okay? And then Pico, they have authorized contractors as well, like the Sodexos and them, that will help you to do all the documentation so that you can receive and get those rebates. So if you have any questions or anything, there's their contact information. We have Duquesne Light, which is over in the Pittsburgh area. Duquesne Light's Watt Choices program, it helps customers conserve energy and reduce demand while lowering their electric costs. Watt Choices invites commercial, industrial customers to take advantage of many different energy efficiency and demand response measures. Very similar to what you've already heard. Evaluate what you want to do. What is the opportunity at your facility? What do you think you want to upgrade? And basically, Duquesne Light, and just like the others, they offer solutions for basically every type and size of business. So choose your equipment, your measures, contact your folks you can contact Ron here. Ron Ryzak, he's the authorized contractor for Duquesne Light, and he'll make sure that the necessary documentation is completed so that you're sure to get your incentives as soon as possible. Okay. With Duquesne Light, this slide here just represents, some of the different programs to choose from. This is only a few of them. There's a whole list of them, but I just wanted to bring this to your attention. So they're providing rebates on a wide range of energy-saving devices that a commercial or industrial customer might use, such as we talked about LED lights and fixtures, VFDs. They have the Express Efficiency Industrial for small commercial industrial customers. That provides rebates on, many energy-saving devices as well, choosing from the same things. And then with the industrial efficiency, there's the Watt Choices, and that's designed to help industrial businesses make smart and energy-efficient decisions to reduce energy consumption and operating costs. So as you can see, there's others to choose from, and if you go to their website, you'll see the whole laundry list of all the different programs they have to offer. So as I said previously, contact Ron Ryzak, for any assistance that you may have if you are in the Duquesne Light area. Okay, so that wraps up the utility rebates, incentives. What you really want to take away from here is get pre-qualified so that you make sure that you're getting the correct, the good, the right equipment so that you qualify for those rebates. Okay, and then let them do the work for you, and let them go through that process with you so that you can get that rebate back. Okay, we have the sustainable energy funds throughout the state, and I'm going to talk to you about these. This is the West Penn Power Sustainable Energy Fund. It's a nonprofit organization, and it was founded to promote the deployment of sustainable energy technologies that benefit those ratepayers in the West Penn Power territory. West Penn Power SEF financing programs, they focus on the deployment of renewable and energy power production, innovative energy efficiency and conservation technologies, and then also public outreach and education. So their conventional financing is often provided in the form of a sustainable energy project loan. Those loans are typically in the range of anywhere from $25,000 to $1 million. They have the Act 129 energy microloan. They're offered to commercial, industrial, institutional entities that wish to make eligible Act 129 energy efficiency improvements in that West Penn Power footprint. Okay, and those loans, they range from $10,000 to $50,000. And then there's also their grant making. Although they are primarily focused on placing their funding in projects that provide, a modest rate on the return, the PPSEF provides limited grant making. So they'll provide grant making through a competitive sustainable energy financing request RFP proposal. The RFP is typically released like in the third quarter of every year, and it's due somewhere in the time frame of January or February. Okay. The other sustainable energy funds we're going to talk about provide financing for energy efficiency projects as well as renewable projects in the PPL territory. And then the third one is the MedEd and PennTAP Sustainable Energy Fund. So we're going to talk about those next. So this one is the one that is in the PPL territory. This SEF provides financing for energy efficiency projects as well as renewable. So there's kind of a common theme here going on, right? All about sustainability. This Sustainable Energy Fund finances energy-related projects. The geographic focus is that PPL footprint in central and eastern Pennsylvania, and their typical projects are like solar, wind, biomass, building envelope improvements, HVAC, or lighting upgrades. So SEF helps finance commercial loans for commercial entities, for industrial operations, municipal projects, ag-related businesses, and for nonprofits. So if you have any questions, you can go to their website and get more information on any of these funds. MedEd. MedEd PennTAP Sustainable Energy Fund, they provide grants and loans and equity investments to promote the development and use of renewable energy and clean energy technologies, energy conservation and efficiency, sustainable energy businesses, and projects that improve the environment in the company's service territories. So information, like I said, just go to their website, and they have contact information of who you would talk to within each of these particular funds. Moving on, there's tax credits that are available. This program, the tax credit here, has 3 incentives, which are solar, wind, and then the geothermal combined heat and power. The tax credit for the solar and the wind technology is 30%. And the sectors include commercial, industrial, investor-owned utilities, cooperative utilities, and agriculture. So basically everybody except residential. Eligible solar technologies are solar water, solar space heat, solar thermal, solar PV, anything solar you can think of qualifies for this. Then you have the eligible wind, and that is for small wind projects. It's not like going out there and seeing a big wind farm with those big wind turbines that you see. This is for something that, maybe you're a farmer and you want to put a windmill on your facility. It's for those small wind projects. And then the tax credit for the geothermal and combined heat and power technologies, that is 10%. With the same sectors that I mentioned earlier: commercial, industrial, investor-owned utilities, agriculture, cooperative utilities. These technologies include, with geothermal electric, heat pumps, combined heat and power, geothermal direct use, and micro turbines. So that is tax credits. I wanted to just talk a little bit about additional funding. So it might be a little outside the box, but there's other funding available too. This is the Commercial Property Assessed Clean Energy CPACE program, and it was enabled in Pennsylvania in the summer of 2018 through Act 30. The legislation authorizes local governments to establish a CPACE program for building owners to obtain low-cost, long-term financing for energy efficiency, for water conservation, and for renewable energy projects. So CPACE can be used for existing and new construction of commercial, agriculture, industrial, and nonprofit properties. Improvement projects can include, like I said, energy efficiency, renewables, and water conservation. Some of these measures can include high efficient lighting, sensors and controls, HVAC upgrades, chillers, boilers, heat pumps, geothermal, building envelope improvements, solar, wind, adding aerators to faucets, condensing water reuse for cooler towers, and many others. Very new, and not all the counties have this in place yet, but you want to call them to find out if you're eligible for this. And I believe that they have it for the commercial sector right now. The Sustainable Energy Fund, they are a neutral nonprofit administrator of CPACE. So as the CPACE administrator, SES, they facilitated and developed the statewide program guidelines in close partnership with the Keystone Energy Efficiency Alliance, KEA, the City of Pittsburgh Sustainability and Resilience Division, the Department of City and Planning, and Philadelphia Energy Authority. So that's why you see all those logos in this slide, because it's in partnership with everyone. We have other funding. The Pennsylvania Manufacturing Mini Grant. This initiative, it seeks out to match mini grants to grow and strengthen our existing manufacturing companies with an economic gardening approach that provides, and it targets direct assistance to those companies to help diversify markets, leverage new opportunities in emerging sectors, and also to develop robust industry clusters around these sectors. There are $10,000 match with a one-to-one, or a $10,000 max on these mini grants with a one-to-one match. Company eligible, if you're located within the ARC's 52 county region in Pennsylvania, you have 250 employees, and you have not received an ARC mini grant in the past, then you're eligible for these. They are giving priority to those companies that have significant economic impacts from changes in the coal industry. So just want to point that out. Then there's Ben Franklin. The Ben Franklins, are you looking for startup funding to help develop or commercialize a new innovative process or a product? The Ben Franklin, they've been investing in tech startups and small manufacturers located in the 32 county footprint. Ben Franklin's all over, but with this adoption fund, tech startups can potentially receive up to 4 yearly infusions of cash up to $500,000. Small manufacturers, they might be eligible for the one-time investment of up to $250,000. Some examples of what their typical funding includes is maybe it's software development, prototype development, beta testing, sales and marketing expenses. They help customer site visits and do trade show participation, hiring employees, and they have a lot of services to provide. So I just gave you a couple of examples of funding sources that were a little bit unique, but I want to talk a little bit about how do we find these funding sources. When I'm working with a client and they have a project, where do I go to look for the resources that are available to help fund a project so they can implement an energy efficiency upgrade? Okay. This is probably one of my favorite websites, this one in DEP's. Desire. It's the most comprehensive source of information on incentives and policies that they support renewable energy, energy efficiency in the whole entire United States. This particular website was designed by the North Carolina Clean Energy Technology Center. It's a state university, and it's funded through DOE. This website, if you click on whichever state you're in, if you click on that, it's going to bring up whatever incentives, whatever is available within your state. It's a really, really cool website. I go to Pennsylvania, obviously, and I see what's listed for small businesses or for industries. It's a great resource. It's a great tool to use when looking for funding opportunities. Okay, talks about tax incentives, talks about rebates, talks about loans. It really is a pretty unique site to go to. Another one that I go to, and I kind of include into it, is the DEP, Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection. They have a really nice grants, loans, and rebates website that you could go to and find out what's available. With that, they have dozens of grants, loans, as well as rebates to assist individuals, groups, and businesses with a host of environmental issues. So if you go to their website, and you can review what they have to offer as well. So that's it on the funding part of it. I'm just going to talk briefly about our service in PennTAP and what we do. PennTAP's a statewide technical assistance organization. We're charged with supporting Pennsylvania businesses and anchor institutions, including manufacturers, municipalities, schools, entrepreneurs, and economic development agencies. PennTAP, we're over 50 years old now, and we were one of the first technical assistance programs in the country. I have our mission up here on the slide, and that's actually one of our technical advisors meeting with a client in that photo. We have two different pillars of services that we offer. We have the energy and environment pillar and then the innovation side. And I'm going to talk briefly on each one of these pillars as we go through. So we have the P2, E2 assessments. We have the E3, economy, energy and environment, energy management systems, and then building retuning under the environmental or the energy and environment umbrella. And under innovation, it's product and process improvement, the learning factory, and then student entrepreneurship and student engagement. The pollution prevention energy efficiency assessments, we'll go out and we do free energy audits for manufacturers in Pennsylvania. We receive grant funding to be able to do that. And then we provide a report with a list of recommendations of what the cost savings would be, the estimated project costs, and then the payback periods. And then we also provide in those reports what funding is available to help implement that. And then also we could be your grant writer. So that's a little bit about our P2. E3, it's economy, energy, and environment. So this is E2 on steroids, I say, because we combine this with lean manufacturing. So we'll go out and do an E2 assessment, then we also do some lean training and look at a process and do value stream mapping for a manufacturer. So it really brings together that lean part, that lean expert with PennTAP experts, and we use the resources from the IMCs and the local LDDs throughout the state to help us to do the lean training. It's a really nice program, and we do get funding to offer that service. The next one is our building retuning. Building retuning, BRT, it combines our classroom and hands-on training opportunity for like government agencies, schools, municipalities. And the program really focuses on no-cost, low-cost savings opportunities. So they're ergo building retuning, right? And not only providing training, but each facility then will receive a report too with recommendations. But the folks that take this training, you know, they get to learn about the tools and what they can do to help with their facilities, and then take that information back and then train the folks at their facility. EnMS, Energy Management Systems. Energy management, it is designed to help an organization take that systematic approach to achieving continual improvement in energy performance. So you're creating that framework of energy efficiency into existing management systems that you have in place already. So it'll help you establish those policies and procedures, and then it'll help you to plan, identify, prioritize, and then implement those projects that will improve your facility's energy performance. So if you already have a standard in place, ISO 9000, this is just adds on to those standards. And then you can get formal recognition of a company's EnMS, and that's accomplished through the ISO 50001 standard or the Superior Energy Performance certification, and then DOA has the new 50001 Ready designation program as well. This is just a slide talking about our 2018 successes. We did 53 on-site assessments, or E3 events, or sessions and training workshops. Created $2.8 million in economic benefits. Reduced greenhouse gas emissions by 1.5 million, and then we also educated 32 school districts and received that BRT training. Very quickly on the other pillar, the innovation services, PennTAP, we're in our third year of a current 5-year USDA University Center program, and that helps to enhance and build economic development in Pennsylvania. And by leveraging the resources here at Penn State with businesses and community partnerships. We do that by engaging students and faculty in technical design and operation efficiency projects to help those entrepreneurs and intrapreneurs overcome those hurdles they may have. There are 21 innovation hubs located through the Penn State campus around the Commonwealth, so to help with new businesses and new product creation. And then the Learning Factory. The Learning Factory does 200 student team engineering design projects on the average. The Learning Factory, they engage students with company sponsors, and they've been doing this for many, many years, like over 20 years now. And it allows those student teams to demonstrate before they graduate their abilities to perform in a work environment, and it allows organizations to build engagement networks with with faculty and with the staff within Penn State. And then it also allows those small companies to benefit from inexpensive but high quality engineering design services. So the Learning Factory is a pretty cool thing offered. And then on the innovation side, here are some of the successes from them. Created and saved 34 jobs, over 436 students participated in the programs. We have the INQ competition where they put out $30,000 grants awarded to student-based startups. And then we hosted 46 Learning Factory projects with the economic benefits of $1 million. So that's the innovation side of PennTAP. A lot of information. If you have any questions, now is the time to ask questions. And Ed, you can unmute your mic, and if anybody has questions, just go up to your chat pod and go ahead and type them in. I do have a question with the Small Business Advantage Grant. Now, is that eligible for any small business, do franchises, are they eligible for that? Can you talk just a little bit about that?
Yeah. First of all, I did answer two of the questions in the Q&A type in there.
Okay.
The first was, are municipal governments eligible for the small business grant? No. In order to be eligible for the grant, you have to be a registered small business with the state of Pennsylvania and paying taxes as a small business. Nonprofits, churches, charities, not-for-profits, local governments, and municipal authorities are not eligible for the grant. Other organizations that would not be eligible for the grant are franchises, individuals or businesses that have environmental violations that are still open. And then any business that has greater than 100 employees.
Okay. We do have a question in the chat pod here. So we had someone lose connection several times. We will be providing this presentation. It is archived and it will go onto our website, but we can also email it out to you. If you're here, we send this out in a PDF form to all the participants that have been on our webinar today. So you're going to be able to get it two different ways, via email or link into our website. Okay.
This is Ed Boito again. I did answer a different question there during the conversation, and that was about an individual wanted to put in, I guess, like a propane or natural gas storage tank. If that is part of an energy efficient program or energy efficiency project, and you are removing old inefficient equipment, yes, that could be part of your project that would be eligible. One of the requirements of the grant program is that old equipment, old inefficient equipment must be taken out. So I guess another ineligible applicant would be someone that's building a new building or renovating an abandoned building that doesn't have any lights in it or doesn't have an HVAC. We're not going to give you money to put in brand new units without taking out something old where you can't figure out how much energy that building was using to begin with.
Okay. We have a question about, is there any funding for energy audits? Through your rebates, you can get a rebate if you have an energy audit done at your facility. You can apply through your utility company for a rebate for that to help pay for the cost of an energy audit. So all depends on which territory you are in, but you would have to give them a call to find out. Okay. Okay, so I have a couple different questions here, again, about recording. So some people are losing internet connection. So this is going to be archived and it'll be put onto our PennTAP website. Okay, so you will have access to this recording. And then we have a comment, 180-day utility rebate requirement is from the PA-PUC. So I'm pretty sure that all PA utilities require the rebate request to be submitted within 180 days of completion of the project. Earl, I think you're correct in that assumption. Well, it's not an assumption. You're correct. Any other questions before we say goodbye today? I do want to thank everybody for being online with us today. You know, by all means, this is not, you know, the only thing that's available when it comes to funding and incentives. You know, when you're in different regions, different areas, the Philadelphia region might have something within that, you know, with their development authority area. Pittsburgh, you know, very different as well. But this just gives you an idea of what is available and out there, and then some resources where you can go and to find funding resources. Okay. So thank you. We appreciate you being here. The webinar will be archived and posted on our website for future year use. So, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yes, and thank you, Ed, for being here and helping us with this and providing us information on DEP grants. We
You're
appreciate
welcome.
that.
Thank you.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.